We are in Arrakis. Actually, not we. The House of Caladan is in Arrakis. New chapter. I started a new chapter and it starts in Arrakis. I thought they were gonna do like some some talking on the ship going to Arrakis, but they just went from the planet of Caladan, and now they're in Arrakis. So we get no ship dialogue, I guess. So they're in Arrakis. Jessica's the first one to most specifically, they're in a city called Arrakeen, I think. If I do remember that correctly. Arrakeen is what they named the city. Is what I'm thinking. Let me see. Arrakeen. All right. So Jessica's the first one to see Arrakis. You don't hear about Paul. Well, you don't hear Paul talk these next 10 pages or this next chapter. I read a whole chapter. So instead of reading 10 pages, I just went like 13 pages into the next chapter. And it's pretty crazy. It has a pretty crazy ending to the chapter. Mysterious ending. You know, being dumb like I am, reading this book makes it that much more interesting because you need to be smart to understand what the hell's going on. But this thing is so mysterious that you don't really know where the hell it's going with anything. But luckily, I seen the movie, so watching the movie first helped me to put faces to the characters. So they're in Arrakeen, a city in Arrakis. They named it that. That's where the House of Chaldean is staying. And they're in this humongous mansion. I think it's a mansion, or they say like hall or whatever, a house. I don't know what the fuck it is. It kind of sounds like they're in a humongous mansion in a city. So Duke, you get a brief conversation with Jessica and Duke Leto, and they're talking to each other, and and Duke drops a line in the movie. I mean, the Duke drops a line in the book that fucking threw me on a curveball. He's talking to Jessica like she's a servant, and I'm like, what the fuck? I thought they were married or something. And then he drops a line, "I'm glad I didn't marry you," like joking with her. I said, "I'm glad I didn't marry you." Like, what the fuck is that? I thought they were married. I thought that was the wife of Duke Leto, and I thought Paul was his son. Who the fuck is this Jessica lady? Like, is Jessica married to Paul? Like, who the fuck? What is that? Like, it confused me. So I'm confused reading this, and they're talking about um they're getting into they're getting all their stuff, all their boxes, all their portraits, all their decorations are coming in boxes and ships, and the house is getting ready to be lived in. So they're putting up the frames, they're putting up all this stuff. And Duke Leto talks to Jessica and says, "Oh, I got you two slaves, or I got you two servants to help you out, and they're framing. And they talked about you and all this crap. And they were talking about you, that you're a Ben Gesserit and all this crap, and that they heard about you, and they're eager to know more about you." And she's like, "All right, what the hell? That's crazy." So Duke leaves, and she's like, "Well, when do I fix your ass dinner?" And he says, "Well, I'm gonna be busy fucking welcoming troops into Arrakis, and I gotta go through all this other crap. I'm gonna send a car or a ship to pick up Paul so he can come to our strategic meetings and all that crap. So I'm gonna be very busy. Don't even expect me until late. So then he leaves, and Jessica's by herself with a mate with Fremen, but she hasn't seen him yet, and she's just looking at this humongous fucking mansion, and the mansion's made out of wood, and she's like, man, this wood must have come from another planet because there ain't no wood in fucking Arrakis. So it's basically just a house warming episode or a thing. And she meets a Fremen, and the Fremen's like, hey, how you doing? Like, how can I serve you? And Jessica's like, oh, you can address me as Lady Jessica. He's like, certainly, Lady Jessica, what would you have me do and all this crap? And they start chatterboxing, and they describe the Fremen, and she's like very old and wrinkled, and she has blue eyes, like her the white part of her eye are all blue, like dark blue. In the in the movie, they're like light blue, but it says dark blue here, so who knows? Um, but she talks to the lady, and then he says, oh, I heard that you can speak the tongues and all this crap. She's like, all right, what's he's like, I heard about you too, that your name is Shara or some weird thing. And he's like, yeah, because we know about you guys. And they were just shooting the shit with each other. And then this was a difficult one to understand, because there's so much to go. There was so much detail in this crap. You have to read this over. You have to read this book at least 10 times to really understand it, because you won't absorb every single thing that it's talking about, because there's just so much fucking detail in every damn chapter that unless you freaking write down everything that they talk about, you're gonna be lost. This book is pretty advanced, and I'm a beginner reader. So the lady's name is something Mapes, either Mapes or Mapes, Sharia Mapes, something like that. It's Mapes. Let me see, what's her name? Mabps. It sounds like Mapes, or it could be Mapes. So that's her last name is Mapes. So Sharia Mapes, or I don't fucking know, something like that. That's what the servant lady's name, and she's a Fremen, and she's gonna serve Jessica and the family and everything. And they have guards guarding the house and all that crap, so they don't have to worry about all that crap. But basically the whole chapter is them two talking about each other, and the Mapes, which is a Freeman, she's like, oh man, you might be the one, because you know language, you know about the Ben Gesserits, and you know all this stuff. Can you speak the words of the languages of the Ben Gesserits? And Jessica was kind of like bragging, and she's like, oh, I'm bragging. He's like, oh, so the king, your husband is he got a very cool wife. And that's where Jessica dropped the bomb. She says, I'm not his wife, I'm his concubine. So then I was like, what the fuck? Jessica is Duke Leto's concubine, which is like just a sex lady. And she's like, yes, I'm her concubine. So, and Paul is his heir to the deity. So he's like, what the fuck? So she's like, so the Mapes lady, she's like, oh, so that means there's a wife. He's like, no, there is no wife. It's like, so there's other concubines? It's like, no, I'm his only concubine. He has no wife. And my son Paul is heir to the deity. So I was like, shit, what the fuck? What kind of weird ass relationship is that? That's a weird relationship. So that probably shows why Paul hardly sees his dad, because he's just the son of a concubine. So Jessica is a Bene Gesserit. They're starting to find out that she has these powers of talking languages and speaking and learning things and knowing things. And she's like, I know so many things. Like, I know how to speak the tongues and all that crap. And then she says some weird ass words that I was like pronouncing. It was like Balsab or Shirwavasa or some weird thing. I was like, it doesn't matter how I pronounce it. And then she started to realize that she told the Mapes lady, I know a lot of things. I know your future. I know that you've killed people. I know that you have come to kill people. I know that you're trying to kill me or you're trying to hurt me. And I know that you have a knife in you and that you have killed and you will want to kill me. And then like she just starts ripping on all this crazy things. It kind of scares me. I was like, holy shit, Jessica's pretty powerful. She's like a powerful lady, and she's trained to be this weird, like psychic fighter type deal. And so the women, those Bene Gesserit women's are really fucking powerful. So the fucking Mapes girl's like, oh my god, you're the one, like the one that's been written and all that shit. Is like, the knife is not to kill you, the knife is a gift to bring to you. And she gives her a knife, and the knife is called a Christ knife. Not Christ knife. Christ like crystal knife. But it's not crystal, it's made out of the tooth of, I think, a worm. And she, long story short, she gives her the knife and says, look, this is a gift. This knife is a gift. I brought this knife to give it to you if you were the one. And Jessica's like, all right. So the Mapes was asking her questions, and like specific questions to see if she was the one. And the girl named Mapes, the Fremen, the servant, she said, wow, you definitely are the one. You can have this knife. Don't keep it close to your body, because like 10 days away from your body, the thing will disintegrate. So it's a special ass knife. And so they go about their business and they say, oh, what do you want me to do now? It's like, well, hang these fucking these portraits of the Duke's father up there, and this bull right facing across him and all that shit and all that crap. It's like, all right, what else? Where do you want me to hang all this other stuff? And they get in. There's a lot of fucking detail into this book. Like, you got to read it. It's a very detailed ass book. And then Jessica goes about her ways, and she says, wow, that lady. Mapes says, oh no. Jessica, towards the end of the chapter, Jessica gets a fucking feeling in her brain. And she has a fear. She has like a strong fear that she has to see Paul. So she's running towards Paul. And I guess the servant lady's watching her, and she's saying, wow, she's the one. But the last sentence that comes out of the lady's mouth, the Mappe's mouth, is poor lady. So she's saying she's the one. Mappe said, poor lady. So I guess something bad happens to the one or something, but that's how the chapter ends. And I'm like, fuck, what the hell is going on here? This shit is going into weird turns and shit like that, and who knows what the fuck's gonna go on. And it's an interesting book, man. 10 pages a day. Not easy.